What is going on today? It is TruckerFromNothing here, coming at you with a new video for once. A little bit different today. Usually I do videos off of my phone. I'm actually in the campus inn, so I figured I would do my video off of my laptop just to make it easier for myself. But today we're going to go over the 5 things about TNT that they don't tell you. And this isn't necessarily, this is just going to be kind of like a mishmash of everything put together. But I feel like these things are important to know before you get into TNT, or else your time in TNT is going to be a bad time, unfortunately. But the number one thing I think that this is talked about, but we'll go 5 to 1. So the 5th thing, and least important, I think, is sleeping. Sleeping is talked about. I've talked about it in previous videos, but sleeping can be hard. If you're a really light sleeper or you have trouble falling back asleep, this may not be the route that you want to go down. The truck is moving, it bounces around a lot. You may find that you have a tough time sleeping, staying asleep, and that when you wake up, you may end up tired. That's a real thing, and if that's something that you're worried about, this may not be the style of CDL school that you should go to. Personally, I'm a heavy sleeper, so it wasn't an issue for me, but I mean, even me being a heavy sleeper, I still got woken up some nights. You hit a big enough pothole, you're gonna wake up. I mean, we drove down some roads where you'd hit a pothole and the guy in the back got airborne off the bed. Like it's no joke back there. So keep that in mind. If you're a light sleeper, this might not be for you. Now, I think a lot of people can adapt to that, which is why I left it at number 5. But number 4 is entertainment. Entertainment on the truck is hard. I have a laptop with me, obviously, since I'm recording this on my laptop. I have my phone. My first 2 weeks, I brought a Nintendo Switch with me. Charging the device isn't the problem because the way our truck was set up, the APU was right near the seats. And we also had an extension cord, so I mean, I could charge it at nighttime while I was asleep if I wanted to. Your real problem comes that there's no Wi-Fi. So if you want to play like games on your computer, you better have them downloaded beforehand. I'm a really big Call of Duty fan, but obviously you can't really play that anywhere. You also need to have something that you can put away pretty quickly because when you're in the TNT phase anyways, time is money. So you don't want to have this, long convoluted thing you have to put away. I know when I was talking to my trainer about entertainment, he had a trainee who actually used to quilt blankets while she was weighted. So just an idea, you guys should think of some things that you can do for entertainment. A lot of people think they're gonna be just happy with their phone. If you're into watching movies and stuff, that's great. Usually you have cell phone service at all these shippers and receivers, so there's no problems there. Just make sure that you have an idea and have some options there. If you do not, you're going to be very bored very quickly. When you're solo, it's less of a problem because, for my laptop, I didn't bring it out if I only thought I was going to be at shipper receiver for an hour. It takes 5 minutes to get out, 5 minutes to put back and hook everything up, so that's kind of a pain. Once I go solo, which is what I'm actually at the campus inn to do now, I'll probably just leave it set up on my bed and then I'll just use it back there, so it's less of an issue solo, but more of an issue in the TNT phase. Number 3, things that they don't tell you about. And I should say these are numbered in the annoyances. The sleeping is kind of annoying, entertainment's kind of annoying, but it's going to get more annoying. Eating. Eating gets very annoying. And not in the way that I have to eat, but I gotta find a place to stop. Eating is annoying in the fact that you don't have many choices. So we stopped at Walmart when we could, but because we were running really hard and trying to get our miles done, I got my miles done in 2 months basically. 3 months, October, November, December. So we did, and that is with taking home time as well. I took home time twice. I took home time right after PSD for about 4 days, midway through for about 4 days, so 8 days. So I haven't quite calculated out the days, but suffice to say we did a lot of miles. So there wasn't a lot of time for downtime for us to actually go to Walmart and stuff. We also did a lot of high value loads, which, I mean, you could go to Walmart with, but then one guy has to go in, one guy has to stay in the truck. It gets kind of complicated, and the fridge isn't that big. So as a single person, when you're solo, there's plenty of room in the fridge, so that's not a problem. The other problem is that when you're in TNT is that even if you have stuff that you could cook in the fridge, there's not a lot of time where the truck isn't moving that you could cook. So, I mean, if you can cook it in the microwave, great, fantastic. The microwave, works when the truck's moving. And so yeah, I would be ready to eat a lot of fast food or a lot of sandwiches or things of that nature. I eat a lot of fast food. Thankfully, excuse me, sorry. I actually ate a lot of fast food beforehand. I was a tow truck driver beforehand, and when it's cold out, you don't want to be bringing lunch from home as a tow truck driver, so my body was pretty used to it to begin with. I definitely did gain some weight from this just because you're driving so much and the downtime that you have is just in the sleeper berth. So I will be working on losing some weight after this, but that's something to be concerned. But something to consider though is your eating choices on the road are probably going to be kind of limited, and they're not going to be good for you. So keep that in mind. Number 2 on my list has got to be truck stops. Things they don't tell you about truck stops are, number 1, the walk to the bathroom is kind of long. I'm not saying that I pissed myself, but I'm saying there's been close calls. Definitely, if you have to go to the bathroom, do not wait until the last minute. I think the worst is when I had to drop the kids off at the pool, and I get there, I get there and I have time, and then I realize all the stalls are taken. That's a real thing that can happen. So I would just plan ahead for that. Not as much a problem at rest stops and stuff. Rest stops have usually quite a few more bathrooms than truck stops. That's something to keep in mind. And everybody always talks about the showers being gross and nasty. I haven't had that problem, but you do need to be ready to shower in a public shared space, kind of. Also be ready to not shower every day. When I was in TNT, my hygiene's not the greatest to begin. Well, I shouldn't say that. Because you're in a truck, you're mostly sedentary. It's not like you're sweating or anything, or you shouldn't be anyways. So it's not like you get gross in one day. As a man, anyways. I mean, females may have a different problem, but we tried to shower every other day. So just be ready to not. If showering every day is a consideration for you and you have to shower every day, you're gonna have a rough time through TNT. All right, that's all I'm trying to say. And my biggest thing that they didn't tell you coming into this is that receivers and shippers suck. The biggest problems I've had on the road are with receivers and shippers. Obviously, you have the long waits. As a TNT driver, long waits suck. Once you're solo, you'll get paid for all that waiting that you do. I think it's like maybe $15-20 an hour. Like it's not as much as you would get if you were driving miles, but you're getting paid. I mean, so on your paycheck, it's worth it. But as a TNT student, like, I'm getting $800 or $700 a week, regardless of how long I sat there for. So we got really screwed on 2 loads, actually 3 loads, kind of. And I'll go over those loads real quick because these are really common. Well, one of them's not so common, but the other 2 are pretty common, kind of. All right, so number 1 problem you're gonna have if you're in a company truck or a lease truck. This is for both of you guys. Whether you're gonna get a company or lease, check your freaking loads. We took a load and we could make the pickup time, we could make the drop-off time, no problems. We accept the load, and then they changed the drop-off time for us to about 4 hours earlier, and we were running it close as it were. and that caused us to now we were going to miss the drop-off time. And we told them, and they said, oh, we'll adjust it, and they just didn't. I don't know if there was miscommunication between sales and the dispatcher, or sales just entered in the wrong time and then never bothered to fix it. Because we missed that appointment time, now when we got there that day, they just couldn't unload us, and we had to wait till the next day to get unloaded. And you may have to wait longer than that. Once you miss your appointment time, I mean, worst case scenario, they may just even refuse your load completely. And then you don't get, well, I don't know if you don't get paid, but as a company driver, you would definitely still get paid because that's not exactly your fault. But that's something you really need to be checking is your appointment times, making sure that you're going to make them, and do not accept a load that you're not going to make. And once you've established some trust with your fleet manager, if you tell him, hey, look, I'm not going to make this unless you can change the appointment time, and he says sure, and you trust him to make that appointment time change, perfect, fantastic. If you don't trust him to make that appointment change, do not take it though, because if you miss your appointment time and you told him that you weren't going to make it and he doesn't change it and you still miss your appointment time, they're not going to pay you detention for that sitting part. The other part is getting there and finding out that they either don't have your product. We had to wait like 14 hours one time actually just yesterday. We showed up at the General Mills lot in Michigan at noon. Our appointment was for 4. We didn't get loaded till the next day at like noon. Like, you may just sit and it's not your fault, but be ready to sit. Be ready for that problem. And like I said, just double check your appointment times. Those are the biggest things I can think of that I wasn't really told about and I didn't think about going into this. Yeah. I will be making, actually no, I'm not. I will make a video about TNT pay, just a short video. Obviously the $700, $800 paychecks, everybody knows about those. I'm not going to talk about that at all. I am going to show off a mileage paycheck though. We did have 1 week where I did get mileage pay that I will show off. I'll probably post that video later this week. I know I talked about this in a previous video, but that is all for today. This is Trucker from Nothing, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.